Hey everyone, it's Vinny. Hey, so I wanted to throw together this little video here for you for a couple of reasons. And I'll probably throw this one up here on either on the website or on YouTube here in the near future, but I wanted to have you guys that's on my email list to have it first. But a couple of the reasons I decided to do this today is I've been working on a new Licks DVD, and it had inspired me to do a few things. And also, I'm starting to incorporate the Avid 11 rack as the amp modeler effects rack. So what I'm going to start doing is I'll go ahead and I'm going to start uploading some patches for the 11 rack to the website. If you, in the past, I've always used the the Line 6 HD 500, and for anybody who didn't have that, you're kind of out of luck. So I got this, just trying it out, and so now you're going to have a little bit of both. I still use the HD 500, but I'm going to start incorporating this too. So hopefully, if you've got one or the other, at least you'll have some patches you can download. All right, so what I've decided to do here today was, as far as this little Riffin thing here in the Kia A, it's kind of loosely based on the Brad Paisley's cluster pluck. It's not meant to be an exact version, so I mean so don't beat me up on it because it's it's not supposed to be exact. But basically, what I wanted to do is just what we kind of got going on is we just have a simple repeating riff that goes through a couple of times, and then you put the lick in between, then you go back to the riff, you put another lick in, go back to the riff, put another lick in, go back to the riff. Now the riff, again, is kind of loosely based here on the Brad Paisley's cluster pluck. Now that easily could have been a lot of other riffs. I mean, the Working Man, the funky Working Man blues riff. It could easily, if you go and you download the drum track, you could easily do that one in between. Oops. Seems like there's a lot of other guys out there that do the Working Man blues riff type thing, so I just thought I'd use the other one just to kind of mix it up a little bit. So what you want to do is go ahead and download the tabs below, as well as the backing track. There'll be a full speed backing track, and I'll probably do one that's maybe 75% of the speed. That way you can kind of build up to it. Okay, so again, basically what we're going to do is I'll just kind of show you the first part of the riff first, and then we'll kind of that just keeps repeating itself. But basically, just remember, pretty much on this one, you're downstroking with your pick on the A string, and that's pretty much going to stay there. And then you're doing the little hybrid picking pull-offs on the D and the G string with your middle finger. So. Okay, so basically the first part of the riff is it's just a generic. Again, you're kind of hitting your open A, doing a pull off from the 7th to the 5th fret. Let's see, yeah, you're just doing a pull off from the 7th to 5th fret on the D string. Hit the open A string again, and then do a pull off to the open D string there. So together you got. So that's like the first half of it, and then it goes through, and you kind of do the same thing. Okay, so that's the first half of it. And then you do the kind of the same thing on the G string, but I'm actually pulling off from the 7th to the open, and then the 5th to the open. And then I finish off with this 7th fret on the D string. So together you got. basically, you just take that one little riff and we repeat it 3 times. And then we put in our riff or our lick. So then, so the first lick is basically just, and if you've seen my chicken picking honky tonk style video, it's pretty much, I've used it in that one. I'm sure I've used it. I'm sure I used it other places. That one would have been in the key of C though, I think. But here it's in the key of A, so we're gonna play it at around the fifth and seventh fret respectively. But bend up the second or the seventh fret on the G string, and then you pluck your first finger. It kind of bars the fifth fret of the B string and the E string, and just hit those notes separately. It's almost kind of like a Chuck Berry type lick there. And then you do a pull off from the seventh or the eighth fret of the B string to the fifth fret. Downstroke the seventh fret of the G string. Kind of hit that note on the fifth fret of the B string again. So then if you got the first half of this lick is, second half of the lick is, let's see. Yeah. So the second half of the lick, you're basically pulling off from the eighth to the seventh to the fifth fret on the G string. Downstroking the seventh fret of the D string, and then you're doing a double stop on the seventh fret. You're just barring the seventh fret with your third finger across the G and B strings. Kind of downstroke the seventh fret of the D string. Do a double stop at the fifth fret on the G and B strings. Then finish off the last note, which is the A note on the D string at the seventh fret. So all together, that lick is. Okay, so if we take that little first grouping, again, we're going to play the little riff 3 times, then add in the lick. So if we do that, it's. So basically, you're going to do the lick again, or that riff again 3 times. Then the next lick is basically, this lick is really a Brad Paisley lick. It's he does this lick in the it's actually the main lick of the Nervous Breakdown but he's actually playing that in the key of G, so it's down. He plays it down here at the third fret respectively, down there. But you're just going to take, and again, we're just trying to throw in some licks, so you just take the same exact lick and you're pulling off to open strings. So it changes the notes in the lick a little bit because you're pulling off to the open strings and you're playing it up 2 frets higher. But basically it's a pull off at the 5th fret to the open string on the first string, downstroke the 8th fret of the B string, and then pluck the open E string again. Then you just move down a set of strings and play that same pattern, but this time you're doing pulling off from the 5th fret of the B string to the open, downstroking with your pick on the 7th fret of the G string, and again then using your middle finger to pluck the open B string. So those two are. Then the next ones are going to be the same. You're just going to pull off. Yeah. So the next one you're just pulling off from the 5th fret of the G string. So it'd be pull off the 5th fret open, downstroke the 7th fret of the D string, another open on the G. And then you're just going to do kind of the same thing, except for the next set of strings down. And it's really only half of it, but so you're just pulling off from the 5th fret to open on the D string, ending on that 7th fret of the A string. So okay, so we go back into the main riff. Again, we'll do that 3 times through. Now this next lick is basically like an ascending lick, and really it's just a repeating pattern. And I'm all about repeating patterns because it makes kind of things easy. And so it's a repeating pattern, and all you're doing is we're just kind of working our way up this kind of the pentatonic scale, but instead of just playing it like like just a regular box scale, what we're going to do is we're going to hammer on from an open position. Each time that we move up, we're hammering on from an open position. So it starts out on the low E string. You're going to start out with a open, hammer on from the 3rd to the 5th fret. Then you're going to move to the A string and do the same thing. So it's open, 3rd, 5th. Then we're going to move up another position, but we're still going to hit that open string, and then we're going to do open, 5, and 7. We're going to move up to the D string and do open, 5, 7. Move up to the G string, do open, 5, 7. Move up to the 7th position here to go to, we're going to do open 7, 9 on the G string. And then like open 8 and 10 on the B string. And just kind of wiggle that last note. So if we put those all together, you got... And one of the things that definitely tends to help and gives it a little more faster staccato sound is on this, at least on this lick anyways, you kind of mute the strings, palm mute it with your right hand, just kind of take some of the ring out of the strings. I think that's more kind of like a trick that they use in rock or heavy metal or whatever, but it's kind of it sounds cool, something like that. Again, just refer to the tabs for the lick there. Then we're going to go through the riff one more time, or 3 times actually. And then we'll go to our last lick, which basically, again, all we're going to do here is we're going to pull off. We're going to start on the B string, pulling off from the 8th fret to the 5th fret to the open string, and then stopping on the 7th fret of the B string. It's like a 4-note sequence. Okay. So then we're going to kind of do the same thing, but we're going to move it down a set of strings, and this time we're going to do the 4-note sequence. It'll be 7 on the 3rd string, G string, 5, open, and then end on the 7th note of the, or the 7th fret of the D string. So basically you put those two together and you got... And basically, just something to keep in mind on that one is it's not, you don't just go from one to the other like that. It's you pause, you do the 4 notes, and then you do the other 4. There's like slight little hesitation in there. Okay, so then the next part of the lick is basically you're just going back up to the 5th fret or the 7th fret on the G string. And then we're just going to do a series of pull-offs till we get down here. But basically it's on the 3rd string, we're pulling off from the 7th, 5 to open, drop down to the 4th string, the D string, and do 7, 5 open. So then the last part of the lick, you're going to start at the 7th fret on the A string, pull 7, 5 to open, then kind of do a half quarter bend there, half bend on the 3rd fret of the A string to the open A. So if you put those all together, you've got and that's pretty much it. The main the main purpose of this thing is just to kind of work on riffing, putting in licks, and getting back to the riff, and try to keep on time. If you've got like the Amazing Slow Downer or Audacity or you know, another program that you could take the drum tracks and even speed them up, it'd be even great if you could you know, even try to build these up to even a faster speed. But it's just really an exercise of working on just riffing and throwing in some licks, getting back to the riff, throwing in some licks. Again, you can do it with the funky Working Man's Blues riff instead of the Paisley-ish one. You know, but again, it's just more of an exercise to incorporate riffing with the licks. And one thing about like this the main Paisley riff there is you can experiment with that one too, as far as how much staccato you give it. You can let it kind of ring open as much as you want, where it's more ringing, or you can choke down with your right hand and kind of give it more of a staccato sound. And part of that might dictate, you know, based on how fast you're going. But either way, it's you know, just kind of experiment with it. It's all about having fun. Heck, you can let that drum track go, and just work on the riff, and add in, you know, different licks. You don't have to use the 4 that I give you. If you've got licks that you know that are your favorite ones that you like to do in the key of A, just try to see if you can incorporate, you know, some other kind of lick in there. But it's all up to you to be creative with it. So anyway, again, have fun with it. Like I said, I'll have some of those patches for the 11 rack uploaded to the site by time you see the video here. So anyway, thanks again for tuning in and being a member of Power Twang. Rock on, or twang on. So then basically you're going to do the riff again 3 times. So then basically you're going to do the lick again 3 times.